Dr. Michael Bookhart. Come join us at our newest clinic location at Good Faith Wellness Center. We provide compassionate health care for your entire family, from virtual visits to office appointments. We're committed to providing the best care. We accept all insurances, and we provide monthly wellness plans. Let's start your family journey to a healthier, happier life. Schedule your appointment today, and remember, true wealth begins with good health. Hello. All right. Good evening, everyone. Let us know. Can y'all hear me out there? Hello to everyone in Instagram world. Good evening and welcome to another episode of Telehealth Tuesday. I'm Dr. Michael Bookhart, your host, and as always, we have a very special episode lined up just for you. But before I tell you all about my next guest, I want you all to know that we can be seen on multiple platforms. Dr. B TV on YouTube. That's the word Dr. DOCTOR. The letter B is in boy, spelled out like that. YouTube. You can also find us on Heart of Music, HARDT of Music on Instagram, and also Michael Bookhart, MD, MBA on Facebook. Streaming to all platforms, including LinkedIn as well. So make sure to click, like, share, subscribe to support this very special program. This is our way of giving back to the community, and we couldn't do it without you. Now, the next guest, I want to tell you all about Dr. Andrew Clark. I'm going to let him give his own bio, but he is a native of Mississippi, and he is the owner of Northtown Pharmacy, an amazing pharmacy where they're not only just a pharmacy to dispense medication, but they also talk to you about your health, and he's going to tell you about some of his newest ventures, even in the insurance world. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please stand and cheer for my good friend, Dr. Andrew Clark. Give it to him. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Good evening. Thank you for the lovely introduction. Once again, I'm Dr. Andrew Clark, a pharmacist and owner of Northtown Pharmacy right here in Jackson, Mississippi. It's a pleasure to be here this evening with you, Dr. Bookhart, to discuss such an important topic, such as weight loss, especially during this summer month, to teach people or to educate people about the safe and effective way to lose weight and the role of that medication plays, such as semaglutide.
Absolutely. Well, Doc, man, tell us if you don't mind, just if you'll tell us all about yourself, man, your bio, where you're from, where you went to undergrad. I know you're gonna throw something in where about that particular fraternity you pledged. They'll remain nameless. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, tell us all about yourself, man, and what you got going on these days.
Well, we'll get that out the way right away. I'm a proud member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I did undergrad at University of Southern Mississippi. Got my biology degree there, a degree in biological science. Pharmacy school at the University of Mississippi. Got a bachelor's in pharmaceutical science, and my PharmD, doctorate in pharmacy from the University of Tennessee. I've worked in many areas of pharmacy, mostly retail. I've worked 6 years at Walgreens, so I worked in the big box stores, 10 years at Walmart. I worked at St. Dominic Hospital, where I was the chemo and IV pharmacist going on code in the height of COVID. And most recently, Northtown Pharmacy. So as of June 1st, we just celebrated our 4th year in business, taking care of the community. We've enjoyed that. We've been extensively out into the communities, into the churches, to the schools, doing health fairs. You may have seen us. And so we've enjoyed meeting people and giving them the opportunity to meet us. Here at Northtown, we try to have a patient-centered approach to healthcare or to pharmaceutical care, that we get to know our patients. We get to know their family, and we try to take care of them the best as we can. Here, we're not focused on numbers. Here, we're focused on the patient's health, and here we say Northtown Pharmacy is where your health comes first, and we really mean that.
Absolutely. And so, tell us all about How did you get the vision to start Northtown Pharmacy after, like you said, all these years working in the hospital here and and also working for Walgreens? What made you want to branch out and try that?
Well, I'm from the country. I'm small town at heart, and growing up, when you go into the pharmacy or go into any business, when you walk in there, they tend to know your name. And in a big box store, you can't do that. It's going to be focused on metrics. What is your wait time? What is your script count? All these things get in the way of providing adequate health care. As how many patients you're seeing that day, rushing you through the day, rushing you through those conversations that are critical, and then finding out about what's going on with your patients. So I realized after a while that Walmart or those big box stores were not going to allow me to practice the type of healthcare or pharmaceutical care that I would like to do. And so, in order to do that, I had to open up my own pharmacy because my vision was to be patient centered. And so, and I had the opportunity to purchase this building less than a mile from my home, and I decided to take that leap of faith, jump out there, and we're 4 years later.
Man, that's amazing. What would you say some of the I guess the joys and the pitfalls would be for you since you started Northtown Pharmacy?
Well, the absolute joy is that the people always. I had the opportunity to meet a lot of people from all different types of background in here in Jackson, able to take care, you know, from the most educated to the least educated, to the most affluent to the least affluent. You're able to take care of these people and treat them all the same. I would say the some of the pitfalls are when you're owning your own business is that you're going to work all the time. There's no such thing as PTO. Uh,
Understand?
when you own your business, right? So we just closed at 7 and we're still working, right?
That's right. That's right.
Mhm. But at the same time, you enjoy that because you have the opportunity uh, to to use your gift to help educate the people that need to be educated.
Absolutely, man. Well, look, we we praise God for you and your staff, man, over there at Northtown, and I know we've sent a few patients over there to you, man, and we're going to continue doing that. We love the work that you and your team are doing. Man, let's just get right into it. Let's talk about, because I know all of our viewers, our listeners are wanting to hear about, and look, by the way, this is no kind of, we don't have any ties or anything to disclose about this conversation. We're just talking about summer tips and weight loss, and we want to get into it with a semaglutide or Ozempic, and let's just talk about that. Dr. Clark, man, would you help for all the people that don't know what Ozempic is? Would you mind just telling them, even because some people just they don't even know what it is? Would you mind educating our audience on what this medicine is and what it's used for and how it works?
Well, Ozempic or the brand name or some semaglutide. Basically, it's a GLP-1 agonist, and it was approved by the FDA for type 2 diabetes. And most recently, under the brand name Wegovy, it was actually approved for weight loss. And so I know that we've seen a lot of commercials about this medication. A lot of people are talking about this medication, and particularly for weight loss. It works mainly by slowing down the gastric emptying. And so when you take a bite or you eat your meal, then you're going to feel fuller longer. It's going to reduce your appetite, and then it's going to improve insulin sensitivity. This is pretty much how it works. And GLP-1, what it is, it's a hormone in your brain that helps regulate your appetite. So when you take this weekly injection of this medication, you're going to tend to feel fuller longer, and you're not going to be as hungry. In essence, that's pretty much how it works.
Awesome. So, would you say that a lot of patients, they'll come into the clinics and even the hospitals, and they'll say, "Hey, how do I know if I'm a candidate? Yeah, are there any, excuse me, the criteria that you look for, or let's say, are there any things that you, from your standpoint, would be concerned with? Say a patient's coming in and like maybe they have certain risk factors, or is there anything that from your standpoint that would be an absolute no-no, or like a contraindication for this medicine?
Well, as you know, the patients are going to come to their physician first. And of course, they're going to look at family history and see whether or not they have any history of, say, thyroid cancer. They're going to look at that. That's pretty much a contraindication for that medication. But in order to get on the medication, they're going to look at your BMI. Whether or not your BMI is greater than 30, right? And so if it's greater than 30, you can be a candidate for the medication. Or if it's greater than 27, and you have one of the chronic risk conditions such as hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, then you could be a candidate for that medication.
Absolutely, absolutely. Looks like we've got our first question or statement from the audience. Miss Yakisha Baker says that there are new studies that it can assist in sleep apnea. Um, Now, correction, it can. Okay, all right, we got you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that comment, and please feel free to keep them coming. Drew, I want to pause for the calls real quick. I can tell there's some other people joining in, and we're also streaming live on Instagram now. So pause for the calls. Welcome everyone to Telehealth Tuesday. Again, this is where we are each and every Tuesday, God willing, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I'm so happy we, knock on wood, praise God, no technical glitches, started right on time. So we claim that one. So we thank you all for joining. This is a place where we talk everything, all topics, and there's no question that is too big or too small, and we'll do our best to handle it. And so we are live right here. We have Dr. Andrew Clark, pharmacist in the virtual building, the owner of Northtown Pharmacy, and we're talking about summer tips on health and weight loss. And right now we're discussing one of the hottest drugs on the market, Ozempic. Now, Ms. Baker said, talking about the new studies that are saying it can assist in sleep apnea. Now, I have not read those. I have not seen those specifically for that. But just, in my opinion, if the majority of people with sleep apnea are going to be usually obese. And so one can think about it in such a way that if you're taking Ozempic, and let's say that you're getting a good steady weight loss, say, 8 to 10 pounds a month, something like that, or, between, 6 to 10 pounds a month. And so if somebody's goal is to lose about 50 pounds and they lose that over 4 or 5 months, then in effect, hopefully, at some point you may even be able to come off of that, the machine, the breathing machine at night. So in a way, it can be possibly somewhat tied to it. But again, that's just some anecdotal. I haven't seen any studies. I don't know if you want to weigh in on that, Andrew, or not.
Right. I have not read that study, but like you said, when you are losing weight, and especially a significant amount of weight, we are seeing reports where people are sleeping better. Right. They are getting improvement in conditions such as sleep apnea. Also, just alcohol consumptions. We've seen reducing alcohol consumption. Just about 2 days ago, I see that they're in clinical trial, well, studies that are going on with just the with decrease in smoking or cigarettes. And so what we're seeing when you're taking this particular medication and you're losing weight and you're regulating your insulin or your glycemic index is that we're seeing a lot of improvement in a lot of different areas.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, yeah, definitely. I appreciate that. And thank you for weighing in. And I certainly agree with that. Another question that I had, and again, this is the time. If there's something that you guys want to ask, and it doesn't have to be about Ozempic. That was just the first drug or first topic that we wanted to start with, because I know it's a hot topic, and it's one that a lot of people, everybody's has questions about. Some people have had certain complications, some haven't. So let me ask another question. So when it comes to this particular medicine, is this something that our viewers can actually get at your pharmacy? Do you keep that in stock there?
Yes. So Ozempic, Wegovy, Manjaro, we keep these in stock because like I said, we have patients that are on these medications for diabetes. They're initially approved for type 2 diabetes. So we have quite a few patients that are on these medications, so we keep them in stock. But if we do not have it in stock, we have it in the next day. So if I place an order today, the very next day that medication is in.
Okay, awesome, awesome. We've got another one from Ms. Baker here. It says, let's talk about some costs and insurance approvals. So that, great point. I'll let you take it away now.
Well, if you're say for instance if you're on Medicare, about 80% of those Medicare Advantage or those Medicare plans cover um, Ozempic. It covers Ozempic, and normally the cost for those insulins around $35. So it's great for those seniors that have type 2 diabetes or that are using the medication. Now, if you are not on Medicare and you just have regular insurance, some of those insurance do cover their medication, and along with that manufacturer coupon, you can get it as low as $25. Now, for the majority of the patients, what I see is that the medication with that coupon is around $550. And I know it's pretty high for a lot of patients, and that's one of the things that they're working on is trying to get that cost down so more people can have access to this medication.
Absolutely. One of the other things that patients always talk about, they talk about side effects or, does this medication interact with others? Like, say, if people are on seizure medicines like, Keppra, phenytoin, if people are on blood thinners such as Eliquis and Coumadin, in your experience with that, or and from the trials and different things that you've looked at, have you seen any major interaction from your patients at Northtown or in your experience, like interacting with other medications or causing them any type of noticeable side effects?
No, we're not seeing any major drug-drug interaction with these medications at all. The main things, I guess, the adverse effects that we're seeing, constipation is one of them. Can be one of the main ones because it does slow down the gastric emptying. So you can see constipation, but certain things like a stool softener can easily help with that, or being more hydrated, drinking more clear liquids can help with that constipation, or adjusting the dosage. As you adjust the dose of the medication up or down, you can kind of get around that constipation. Nausea is one of the main one that we see often, and maybe some vomiting or diarrhea, but that is not that often. The main ones tend to be nausea and constipation, but
Okay.
most patients have no side effects.
Okay. Awesome. So, and I think one of the other things is just because I think still maybe there may be some people out there that are, that are still so new to this topic. All they know is the name Ozempic. They see it on TV.
Mhm.
And I'd like for our viewers to know that this is an injectable drug. But what's interesting? A patient came in yesterday, and they had a pill. Was it Rybelsus or something like
Yes.
that? When when did this come out, man?
It has always been here. It's just not as popular, right? Because you're taking a pill every day. It's not as popular because the injection form is one injection a week. This medication has what's called a 5-day half life. So it takes at least 5 days for half of the medication to say break down in your system. So you inject yourself once a week, and you go on about your business. So you're more adherent to the medication compared to the pill form where you got to take it every day. And most patients are not looking to add an additional pill to the medication they're already taking. But it's always been here. It's just not as popular.
Okay, okay. So this medicine, just to make sure we're clear on this, everyone. This Rybelsus, because a patient just came in. They just came in yesterday with this particular medication, and I was like, when I looked it up in my Hippocrates, I said, "What?" I said, "When was there a pill?" I had no idea, man. It shocked me. I'm telling you, it totally shocked me. So.
Yeah, as most drugs, that comes in different forms. You can do PO or by mouth, or or injection, or IV. So different forms, but the most popular one is these once a week injection.
Man, that's amazing. So keep your questions coming. I see, man. I'm telling you, Andrew, man. I can see the little counter where the viewers, man, it's going up and up, man. These folks want to
Okay.
talk about some weight loss, man. Um, are people still utilizing? Man, I don't know why I just had a brain fog. The medicine for weight loss that was having like issues, cardiac side effects. The pill. What's that pill?
The
Uh,
Adipex.
Adipex. What
Yes.
are you seeing that people are still prescribing Adipex, and what's
Yeah.
been your experience with that?
Yeah, well, Adipex is still there. It's still a tool. Many people are still using Adipex. Sometimes uh, the jittery effect of it, because it can speed up your heart rate. So you got to be aware of that. So some people do not like how that make them feel, and so they're tending to opt for the once a week injection. But yes, we filled many prescriptions for Adipex.
Would
And
you say? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and but I would like to say also, because we are talking about Ozempic, to remember that it's not a miracle drug. It is a tool. It's a tool, and it's
Hmm.
important. Is it in this space? It's summertime. It's important to have a balanced diet, into to make sure that you're exercising at least 5 days a week, or 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day. It's about
Hmm.
150 minutes a week. It's going to
Right.
be more effective. So I know one viewer asked about the cost. If you're spending, $500, $600 a month, it is very important or advantageous that you start to eat the right food, a balanced diet, and that you're exercising. You're going to see better effect. You're going to see the effect of the weight loss quicker, and when you're changing that lifestyle, you're going to sustain that weight loss.
Hmm.
Because if you once you stop that medication, if you decide to stop the medication, then you have that lifestyle change that's there that you can continue on, and then you can um, continue to lose weight or even your weight out.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you touched on that because a lot of people, just like when people want to have gastric bypass surgery, a lot of times the surgeon is going to ask the patient to lose about 10 to between 10 to 15% of their weight. They're going to ask them to lose that before surgery. And a lot of people say, well, why is that, man? And I said, because the psychology behind it, if it's somebody who's just looking to get a quick fix, that person is not going to develop the lifestyle and behavioral changes to keep the weight off. And so then when you undergo gastric bypass surgery, or even get on these drugs that we're discussing, but if you continue, well, you won't be able to eat because of the surgery or because of the medicine. But if you don't develop other lifestyle changes, in terms of exercise, getting more rest, like you said, drinking less alcohol, all those types of things, then you're going to run into some complications. And so it's the same thing with these. People are thinking that it's going to be a miracle drug, but I'm glad that you just touched on that we have to start lifestyle changes,
And I've seen that. I've seen where people have been working out in the gym for years and not losing weight at all, and they tend to stop going to the gym because they're not seeing the weight loss. But now that Ozempic or Manjaro is here, what I'm seeing now, once they started to lose that weight, because they're going to lose weight within that first month. You can easily lose up to 10, 15 pounds that first month.
Hmm.
Then they become more motivated to work out. They're more motivated to eat right. So I'm seeing it almost in reverse. They're losing weight, then they become motivated to start those lifestyle changes and to start working out and start to eat a more balanced meal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, let's see what we have here. Um, there were some questions that we had prepared previously, and we talked about the side effects somewhat. We talked about being careful if you have thyroid C cell issues or thyroid cancer and things like that. That would be what we call a contraindication, folks, and that means basically if you have this condition or diagnosis, then you would not be a candidate for uh, medications like Ozempic. So one of the other questions that we had Um, how long does it normally take to see results from Ozempic? In terms of both blood control and weight loss. I'll probably, I can tackle that, but I want to let you weigh in as well.
I would say you would start seeing that weight loss, or you start seeing some results within the first week or two. You would start seeing seeing some results. What you're going to notice right away is that you're going to have a decrease in appetite, and once you're eating a lot, you're eating a lot less. So you're taking a lot less bites of your food, and you're becoming full a lot quicker. And by doing that, you're going to start seeing that weight loss pretty rapidly. So you will see it within that first 1 or 2 weeks.
Awesome, awesome, man. I see one of my fraternity brothers here from the greatest fraternity, face of this earth in this lifetime and the next lifetime, Alpha Phi Alpha. The good Dr. Terrence Ware, man. We appreciate you joining us. I got to get with you after the show, by the way, because
That's my guy.
yeah, man, we're gonna feature his wonderful wife on one of our Telehealth Tuesdays, and she's an attorney. But we'll get into that later. But I'm gonna get with you after this, man. But anyway, so Dr. Terrence Ware says, "Good evening, good evening, doctors. I hope all is well. I've seen patients that appear to have some muscle atrophy when taking Ozempic. Is that a direct side effect of that medicine, or is that secondary to losing the weight quickly?" I don't know. Have
As,
you?
as- exactly. There's a rapid loss of weight. Losing weight that quickly, you can lose muscle. So that's why it's important when we talk about having that balanced diet. Eating a diet is high in protein, but also make sure you're doing strength training, that you're lifting weights. Right? If you're not lifting weights, you're moving your body. You're moving your body weights that from push-ups to pull-ups to jumping rope. These things like moving your body, your own body weight, or doing strength training can help with that muscle loss. Anytime that you're doing that, you're losing weight that rapidly, and some people tend to lose weight pretty rapidly, you're going to see muscle loss. So high protein diets. If you don't like eating a lot of meat, you can easily get those protein shakes. Like I like the Equate protein shakes. They come with about 30 grams of protein. In the morning times is a great breakfast. Kind of get you through the day. That would be a great substitute if you don't eat meat or you don't like eating a lot of meat. But a high protein diet, strength training.
Awesome, awesome. That's a great question, Dr. Ware, man, because I think that a lot of people don't focus on that enough. We see all these great commercials. We see all these folks, losing weight and getting all summer beach body ready and fine and all this stuff, man. But we see all the success stories that's marketed and on social media, but we don't see the people like he's talking about, where they're either having a direct side effect or, like I said, secondary side effect because of losing weight. And that's one of the things, like Dr. Clark mentioned, we have to make sure that we're doing appropriate and proper lifestyle modification, changing the way we eat, changing the way we sleep, getting more sleep, lessening the amount of alcohol, and working out. Even if it's just walking 30 to 40 minutes a day, 4 times a week, which has been the recommendation, forever. So, all right, but we appreciate it. Keep them coming, doc. Keep them coming. Miss Baker says, I agree. It's a tool to aid for weight loss. If you don't diet and exercise, you'll gain it back with extra because the cravings are intense afterwards. Not craving these things on the prescription. I think so. Basically, what you're saying, and let me know if I'm misinterpreting. You're saying you agree with what we're saying in terms of lifestyle modification, and you're saying that patients that are on these medicines are getting intense cravings. So that's why you need to make sure to work on that before starting the medication. Oh, she says, okay, a high protein diet, low carbohydrate. Yeah, absolutely.
And I guess one of the things about the a craving is when you stop the medication. So I guess why we're seeing people gain weight back, two reasons. One is the doses, being on the correct dose. We tend to start with, especially with Manjaro. You see, it starts with like a 2.5 dose, and then you go up to a 5, 7.5, 10, and so far with that medication. So being on the correct doses is important. But the other reason we're seeing some of the weight loss is when they're discontinuing the medication because of the cost. That's a real thing. The medication is not cheap. And so one of the things that I suggest here is that we have medication called berberine. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. Berberine, it acts kind of like acts on the GLP-1 receptor also, and that berberine can help to decrease your appetite. And so that's an over-the-counter medication. And the one that we prefer here is called pure encapsulated berberine. It has antimicrobial effect, so it kills that bad bacteria in your gut.
Okay.
It's 5 times more absorbent than some of the other brands. And so you take this medication and it's going to decrease your appetite. It absolutely works.
Awesome. Awesome.
And that's
Oh,
and the cost of that one is around $40 compared to the um, $500. And so it's some people, but then some people also tend to stretch out those doses instead of every 7 days. They may do every 10 days. And then you'll see those cravings kind of come back. And so this right here can kind of help supplement that also.
okay. Okay. You know, and looks like we all right. Big shout out to Aunt Jackie. I hope you're feeling better over there. Miss Sandra Ellis. Big shout out to the Ellis family. Uh, Durant, Mississippi. You been to Durant? I mean, for you, Andrew, Dr. Clark, man, you been to Durant?
I've been through Durant on 55. I have not stopped.
um, but look, keep them coming, folks. We love this great audience participation. Keep them coming. All right, my good brother here, man, from Huntsville, Alabama, Mr. Antonio Ward. We had him on the show last week, man. We had a phenomenal show and great participation. If y'all missed it, please go to check it out at shameless plug Dr. BTV on YouTube, so you can catch him on there. So we had a great discussion there. All right, so Antonio says, sounds like there's a real connection with appetite and the addiction to food. If we can learn to control appetite, do we need the drug at all?
Well,
Great.
I mean, what I'm seeing basically, the medication is going to regulate your glucose level, right? So you tend to have spikes throughout the day in your glucose level, and when taking this medication, you're not going to have those spikes in your glucose level, or the insulin is being released, bottoming out your glucose or your sugar, and all of a sudden now you feel like you've not eaten anything the entire day, and the first thing you go to is those things, those carbs. You may want to get some chips, or you want to get some high sugar candy, and these are the cravings that you're normally having. And so, if you're able to regulate your glucose, and what this medication does do that, like I said, and berberine does that also, then you're not going to have those strong cravings in order to start binge eating, like we tend to do sometimes at night.
Yeah, awesome. And just to weigh in on that a little bit, that's an interesting point that you brought up, Antonio. I think that, like we were saying, lifestyle changes and modification. If we can learn to control appetite, you know, those are so appetite, or in the Bible talks about gluttony, and I know that a lot of people that are watching tonight have had issues with controlling their weight, with controlling the late night cravings, and that's one of the most difficult things to kick. One of the most difficult habits to kick. Nicotine, surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, cocaine is so the top five is like nicotine, alcohol, food, sex, and I want to say well, we said nicotine, so cigarette smoking. There was another you might want to have. You want to add?
I add the main one, the sugar.
It's sugar.
Uh,
Sugar.
they've done studies to show that sugar was more addictive than cocaine. And
Yes. Yeah.
and that's the point of definitely controlling those glucose levels. You definitely got, and so one of the, I guess, the tools that you can use is what foods do you have in your house, right? If you having more, it's summertime, right? We love those Smith County watermelons. Stock up on those things. And so when you're having those cravings, you tend to eat more healthy food and those foods that are high in water content. And so that would really help you out along this weight loss journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, isn't that how I see my guy like there is Mr. Kenoy Brown, Mr. The showman himself, man. This is Mississippi, the celebrity extraordinaire, hostess to the mostest. So we,
192.
yeah, but I know you know him. We're glad to see you, man. Big shout out to Kenoy and Hot Topics Tuesday, man. Make sure you catch it with Kenoy. Let us know. If you're on there, man, let us know what time they can catch you on your show. And Kanoa, feel free to drop us something, man. Let them know. I know you're going to be hosting something at 4:40 this weekend, and I can't even keep up, man. I just got to watch Facebook to keep up with him. So, but we appreciate you, man, for joining in. And he said that's my pharmacy. So big shout out to Northtown. Okay, so. Let's see, instead true sugar. So yeah, sugar. That's been one of the biggest things. Trying to get the A1C down. A1C is a marker of how well your glucose and your diabetes has been controlled over 3 months. And I'm sure you can attest to this, Andrew. When people come in and they say, "Well, my blood sugar at home," I'm telling you, doc, it's been under 100 every day. Every day it's been under 100. And then the A1C ends up being 10 and 11. So, what has that been your experience as well at Northtown? Because do you do point of care A1Cs and things like that?
And we definitely do point of care testing. A1C is one of those point of care testing that we're currently doing, but we do have a an over the counter A1C testing kit that you can buy in order to check your A1C. Now we do check glucose, the point of care testing we do RSV, COVID, strep, flu. We do those point of care testings here.
Awesome. So, so when they come to Northtown, you can get your A1C check, you can get your glucose check, you can have RSV, you can get tested for COVID, tested for flu. Did you say strep as well?
Yes,
Strep.
yes.
Okay.
And one of the things in regards to Ozempic or insulin, we have patients that are newly diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and their primary care physician wanted to start them on a sliding scale. And so they're very nervous about getting themselves an injection, right? So we
Absolutely.
tend to do that diabetes education and and then give that patient that first initial doses so they can get past their initial fear of giving themselves injections and teach them actually how to do that. But we also do the same thing for Ozempic and Manjaro. We show them that it's pretty easy, pretty simple to teach them how to give themselves those injections and how to rotate those sites, things of that nature, and in order to make them more comfortable giving themselves injections and to take charge of their own health care.
Man, that's awesome. So I want to make sure that our listeners caught that. This so in this day and age, when I trained at the university years ago, you could consult the diabetes educator, which is basically what he's saying. That's a person who would come to your room at the hospital, and they would come in and literally teach you, show you how to utilize insulin, how to inject it. Whether you're going to be injecting into your thigh or your belly, most commonly, your abdominal area, your belly. And this is for people who've never done it before, who don't understand either how to draw up the insulin, or if you got a flex pen, how to turn the dial, how to measure the insulin, how to put the needle on, all that, just from literally step one to all the way to administering the insulin to yourself. And so I feel like I want to just highlight what you're doing over there, the great work you're doing, man, because even places that I've worked, I'll put in a referral to diabetes educator, and then somebody will give me a call. They'll say, "Dr. Bookard, we don't have no diabetes educator." So like that's what we sent the gentleman. We referred a patient to you, last week, and we talked about him, and he was very grateful. I know you guys did a wonderful job and educated him, and so. All right, so let's see. Kanoa says we've got to question. He says, is sugar, you're talking about diabetes, is it reversible like high blood pressure? Okay, so we can say so to use the word reversible, um, okay, and then all right. What's going on? Good evening. We're going to get to Rona's question next. So I'm glad you brought that up, Kanoa. This is one of the things that I really take a lot of uh, pleasure in. The fact that just because you've been dealt a bad hand, or mom and daddy had high blood pressure, they were obese, whatever your situation. The good news is that if you really buckle down, man, you really get in that gym, or even not even the gym, just walking and starting to lose weight. You're on that journey. You're motivated. We're pushing back from the table. We're putting the fork down, and we're making significant lifestyle changes, getting that weight down, getting the A1C down, taking our medications as prescribed. We go over to Northtown. They're going to educate you. You got to continue that. Look, 3 months, 6 months, a year, however long it takes. Absolutely. I have seen one of my first patients when I was in training at the university. This woman was about 88 years old, almost 90 years old. She had been on insulin for years. And she was one of my first patients. I need to reach out to her. And I don't even know if she's still alive. But you should have seen this elderly woman who had tears coming down when I said, Miss So-and-so, I'm here to tell you that we can take you off insulin. She didn't know what to do. I mean, it was such an emotion, embraced each other. So to answer your question, you can absolutely come off insulin. You can absolutely reverse diabetes and high blood pressure. So I don't know if you have any stories that you might want to share, anything to add to that, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, is the fact that you mentioned some of the seniors. I'm seeing some of the seniors are doing the best on these medications because they're definitely taking their hair care seriously. They will talk to you all day about their hair care. So I have several seniors that their diabetes has got a lot better, blood pressure has gotten a lot better from losing weight, and then start traveling more, going on more cruises. They coming in sharing the stories about how well they're doing, and the fact that they're getting out a lot more because they have lost weight. And so yeah, you can reverse a lot of these chronic diseases. Most medications are not meant to take your entire life. Like I said earlier, they're a tool. They're used to try to get you a goal kind of rapidly, and then hopefully that you make those modifications, those lifestyle changes, and then you can maybe come off these medications. What we see more often than not, that we tend to say, hey, I have this blood pressure pill, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna eat whatever I want to eat. And that's why you tend to be on it forever. You don't change anything. And when you don't change anything, I can tell you right now, then you're taking one, you're gonna end up taking two. So the lifestyle modifications, the change in diet, are the things you're gonna have to do to come off of any of these medications. But you most definitely can come off, and those chronic conditions can improve drastically.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree. I see my mom is on here with Lily James. So thank you for watching. And again, we have a praise report that for those of you, I know Andrew, man, I had put something up the first time she went in the hospital, and people were calling like, oh my God, and I had to edit it because she had gone in, and I think people were thinking she wasn't going to make it. And I said, no, well, it's not to that level. So, but we see that she's watching right now. And so I want to give a big shout out to my mother, Lily James. So she had gone back in the hospital, second time, back out again, and she is the good Lord is working with her. We gotta, Andrew, with our parent, we gotta work on those attitudes. They get a little stubborn after 70. So, but anyway, praise God that she is here with us. Okay, so man, they're pouring in, man. Andrew, look, I say this every week. I say, man, once it get to be close to that 8 o'clock, where they start pouring in, man.
Yeah.
But y'all keep them coming. Just in case, and I know you're still at work, man. Would you possibly be able to stay with us for 10 minutes afterwards?
We're fine. Yes, I'll be here.
10. Okay, all right. Appreciate that.
I have a short drive home, so.
No, that's right. All right, so let me get to excuse me, the next question. Rona. All right. Good evening. So she says, what is your opinion? And also I have a question that people have been texting me questions. Well, that's why I'm looking down if some of y'all are wondering. I'm gonna answer Jackie's question after we get to Rona. What is your opinion on prescribing Ozempic for patients with a 5.9 hemoglobin A1C? I have patients asking me to prescribe it for weight loss. They're not diabetic, and I don't. I send them to the weight loss clinics. Um, well, I guess I'll take a stab. So my opinion would be, if somebody has A1C of 5.9, so diabetes is diagnosed A1C of 6.5 or greater. So 5.9 is technically, pre-diabetes, meaning that in the next 5 years, you have a significantly higher chance of developing diabetes if you don't change your lifestyle. So this person does not have diabetes, okay, 5.9. You know, I would just say, the clinical part of that, if this is somebody who's morbidly obese and like Dr. Clark said, BMI of, at least 30 or above. And so say this person has a BMI of, body mass index of 34, 35. And they have an A1C of 5.9. They've been doing everything they can. They just can't shake it. They have these cravings. Possibly a low dose, would be okay. But for the most part, I do agree with you, Rona, that I probably wouldn't. I would just encourage them, especially if they have not been compliant with lifestyle changes and all that. We need to try to demonstrate that for 3 to 6 months before. So that would be probably the way I would go personally. If you want to weigh in on that, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're going to sound redundant, but it's going to be lifestyle changes. It's going to be diet. Like I said, the medication was initially indicated for type 2 diabetes, where medications were not working. You say you were taking metformin or you were taking glipizide or one of these medications, and they were not working for you. And so then you would start on Ozempic. But now, like I said, the FDA has approved Wegovy for weight loss. And that, don't have to be diabetic or pre-diabetic.
That's
It's intended for weight loss.
that's
So
right.
it has that indication.
Absolutely, that's a great point. All right, let's we're gonna keep rolling here. Rona says, I had a young lady on Ozempic. She didn't lose that much weight, but her A1C was 10, and it is now 5.6. So we got to give that a praise. That's a praise. That's a praise report. Yeah, that's a praise report, Rona. All right, back to Kanoa. What are your thoughts on a plant-based diet? Well, a plant-based diet for most people is going to be, that's a great idea. There are certain people, okay, there are certain people that, possibly, like, especially when you start doing all this, no protein, no carbs at all, and no protein, all these different Atkins diet and all that stuff. Then you kind of start getting into the weeds, and certain patients that already have a low protein mass or low albumin and all that kind of stuff, they would not be candidates for those diets. So a plant-based diet, if you're talking vegetarian, which is different than vegan, vegetarian for the majority of patients is good. That should be okay. But as always, you want to check with your medical provider, your doctor, nurse practitioner, also your pharmacist if they've been measuring certain levels on you, and just make sure that that you would be a candidate for whatever it is you're trying to do. But for the most part, getting off things like pork, red meat, all that good stuff, that's always a great idea. So. Rona said she lost about 20 pounds. Awesome. All right, Octavia, what's going on? We appreciate you being here as well, Octavia. Big shout out to you and Dr. Clayton Barksdale, another one of my frat brothers who's going to have his play this week, Thursday and Friday, if he's listening, 10 a.m. I believe it's 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. But y'all let me know if I'm wrong. But it's and he's also written his I don't this it's not his first book, but it's called Where's My Daddy. So y'all check that out. Okay. Octavia says, do you all recommend a nutritionist first for diabetes and hypertension, or is medication the first go-to? Asking because I see a lot of people medicated before trying lifestyle changes first. All right, I'm happy to tackle this, and then we'll let Dr. Clark weigh in. Hey, the answer on any board exam, the first the first answer, what is the most likely, or what is the most effective first line therapy for both of these diagnoses? It is always lifestyle changes. So whether you're on, he talked about metformin, glipizide, whether you're on Januvia, whether you're on Trajenta, whatever, or the injectable, or the number one thing is always going to be lifestyle changes. That's diet, exercise, and even sometimes psychological therapy. So always. I'll let you weigh in, Andrew, if you want to.
Simply, I agree. The saying is, let your medicine be your food and your food be your medicine.
Mm,
It's always going to be the best choice. Always going to be the best choice. But it's also very important to do those things together simultaneously also, because if your blood pressure is 200, I mean, take 200 over, that's pretty high. 180 over 100 when you come in, we need to get that blood pressure down as quick as possible. We don't need you walking around with 180 blood pressure. So we want to start you on those medications right away. Or if you come in and your sugar is, your blood glucose is 450, which we see often, we want to make sure that we get that down through a sliding scale of insulin as quick as possible. But the diet is going to be the main thing, and definitely if you have access to a nutrition, to talk with them as soon as possible.
absolutely. Absolutely. She said, and the first part of the question, do you recommend a nutritionist? Now, if you have access to a nutritionist, yeah, absolutely. Connie Daniels, that all the way from Orlando, Florida, my hometown. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of our show for several weeks now, and for being down there and looking after my dear mother and some other folks, the Jenkins family, and we appreciate everything that y'all have done with her and her care. Let's see. All right. Ms. Baker says, you're right. We can change these things. What do you all think about the holistic approach, like the mother's apple cider? I have oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I almost forgot we had a question that came to me personally. So let me hold that. I am addicted to coffee. What is a good substitute sugar to use, or is honey okay? Um, well, so that, to the person who asked that, it depends a lot of things, right? Is the person obese? Is the person diabetic? But usually, in general, honey is definitely a better substitute than sugar or any of the Splendas or stevias and all this other stuff out there. But I don't know if you want to weigh in on any substitutes or any thoughts you have on that.
Yeah, I like honey, but make sure you're getting raw honey. Like we carry here, a local honey. I think the Beehive is about 2 blocks down. Local raw honey. I tend to use that whenever I do put sweetener in my coffee. But right now, I think I'm getting old, so I'm pretty much black coffee for the most part. And I've noticed also whenever I do drink black coffee, it decreases my appetite also.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't. They don't know that. A lot of people they don't know that coffee, it's a diuretic, so making you urinate. But also, a lot of times, yeah, if you have 8 or 10 ounce of coffee, it's and especially for folk, I drink it black, but most people put cream and sugar and all that other stuff, so that's adding a few other calories, and yeah, a lot of times that can curb your appetite for the morning. But so big thing though for the summer, especially for the summer when If you're having a diuretic like beer, especially beer and alcohol, but beer mainly, because a lot of people say you don't buy beer, you rent it. That's one of the fellas jokes there. Um, but beer, coffee, things like that, diuretic that's making you go to the restroom, urinate, especially in the hot times like this where we're losing so much through our sweat, we're losing so much fluids, so much of our water. So you want to make sure to replenish. If you take an 8-ounce coffee, double that. So do 16 ounces of water and put that back in. And so just wanted to make sure that we highlighted that. Okay. I hope that answered your question about the coffee. Ms. Baker, okay, going back to you. What we can change these things. What do you all think about the holistic approach, like the mother's apple cider? I have a friend that told me she stopped her blood pressure and diabetes meds in a year on holistic medicine. What do you, Doc? What do you say?
Well, apple cider vinegar is a natural diuretic. So when it comes to blood pressure, it will lower your blood pressure because you're gonna lose fluid. So it's gonna decrease your blood pressure. So yeah, it definitely does work. So
Absolutely. Yeah, and that the mother, like I say, you got to get that particular apple cider vinegar, and things like elderberry. So good for you. There's certain herbs in it, but you can't go crazy with the herbs. Now you need to make sure check with your medical professional or go to GNC or check with your pharmacist because there are certain natural things that can be harmful in the right setting, or I guess the wrong setting.
yeah, I mean another thing that works well for blood pressure is beet, right?
Yes,
So eating beets, beet powder that you can place into your smoothie or a tea. That's been used for years. So there are a lot of natural remedies that you can use. Like again, beet that is food, like you mentioned earlier. So that will lower your blood pressure as well as the apple cider vinegar.
absolutely. All right. Let's see. I know we're getting okay, so we'll go to 8:10, guys. So go ahead and get them in. This is going to be our crunch time. We're going to do uh, you know, uh, big rush. Okay, like the mothers. So when Rona said BMI was okay. Back to her question, she was saying the BMI was 36. So yeah, so that's what I was saying. She said BMI was 36. They said another provider gave it to him, but I wouldn't. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. All of that stuff is just it's your practice. That's up to you. I don't think there's anything right or wrong about that. So we were just talking about the patient that she had. I believe the A1C was 5.9, but she just let us know that BMI was 36, which is that's somebody who is obese, morbidly obese. And so she said she did not give him Ozempic. Another provider did, and like I said, I may or may not have done it. So no right or wrong answer. Okay. Let's see. Lifestyle changes. What's our next one? Tavia said I had asked my question because the my last month of pregnancy, I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. I was prescribed medication. I chose not to take the medication. The consult to a nutritionist, and I lost 11 pounds my last 2 weeks of pregnancy, and I haven't had any issues since. So absolutely. Uh, you know, Andrew, what are your thoughts on monk fruit sugar? I've heard of monk fruit, but I don't really have that much experience with it. Are you familiar with monk fruit sugar?
Mm, I hate to say no, I'm not familiar with that one at all. So that was new to me. It gives me something to look up right now.
Yeah,
So no, I'm not familiar with that one. That's a good question.
okay. Well, Octavia, we'll get back to you. All right. Kanoa says, yeah, coffee is an appetite suppressant. Yeah, absolutely. Ty Patterson, I will use raw honey, cinnamon, or cane sugar at the most. Yeah, cane sugar. If you're going to use sugar, either the raw sugar, those brown packets like at Starbucks, it says raw sugar, and it's usually like in a brown packet. That's the actual, raw sugar, or like you said, cane sugar. This is straight natural. So, okay. I think we got caught up over there. We got some folks joining on Instagram. Hello to Instagram family. We've got Dr. Andrew Clark here for another 8 minutes. So I haven't seen as many questions on Instagram side, but we're monitoring both. So make sure you guys get in your questions. Talking about Ozempic all this evening for the last hour, and talking about some tips for the summer, including being careful with coffee intake, and if you're not replacing with double the amount of water. Ozempic, we're talking about what is the BMI, body mass index. Talking about what is Ozempic, how does it work. Dr. Clark has helped to define that for us. So that's where we are. So let's go ahead and, let's take the last couple of questions or comments before we will bid you adieu for the night. So we're waiting on that. One of the things that we had prepared before. What would you say the best site? Because now I think we've educated the folks that, although yes, and I found out it's in a pill form, but mainly everybody's doing injection. What would you say the most common site is for people to inject? Is it in their belly or in the thigh?
Right.
Like, what have you seen?
So the three sites are, your abdomen, your belly, and it's important to rotate those sites, right? So not to give it in the exact same spot each time. So you want to rotate that. You also can give it in your thighs, and then in the back of your arm. You're also able to give it out. Those are the three sites that are recommended.
And I hadn't seen many people do the back of the arm, but
Nah, not really.
but unfortunately, with our patient population,
Yeah,
that's
because it's
that's
a subcute injection, right under the skin. It's important that you're not putting it in your muscle. That's why you barely feel it. So it's right under the skin. So we tend to hit those areas where we store the most fat. And those are the areas that we're going to store, and it's going to be easy accessible
mhm,
to get that injection.
absolutely. Kenora says, "Can we give, excuse me, pros and cons of a plant-based diet?" Well, uh, certainly the pros outweigh the cons on that one. You've got a reduced risk of things like, cardiovascular disease, diabetes. A lot of times can be beneficial for weight management and also the health of your gut, your intestine and everything like that. But one of the things that's important to know that even vegetarians and vegans can still be obese. I attended the great Oakwood University, and I had a certain professor. I won't even name the course that I took because I think he's still teaching. But this gentleman, I'm telling you, we go in the cafeteria and I see this professor who's he was a vegetarian at the time, over 20 years ago, and this guy's getting 3 scoops of macaroni and cheese. Okay, and so you can do all the plant based dieting that you want, or calling yourself vegetarian, but if you still don't are not temperate with that, the Bible talks about temperance. If you're still not temperate with what you're doing, and you're leaving out the meat, but then you're overdoing it with Morningstar Farms grillers, which are delicious, which is plant based. Morningstar Farms grillers, patties, the stripples, which look like bacon, but it's not. But it's all plant based. So Morningstar Farms. This is certainly not a plug for them, but I, ate that all my life, and in our church and religion, they make some amazing sausage patties. They've got all kind of. They even got some chicken that's on some kind of stick or something like that. It makes you think you're eating fried chicken. But my point is, if you flour and bread and fry that stuff up, and you got all this grease dripping out, so you're still increasing your cholesterol and not doing anything for that or your diabetes, although it's plant based. So that's why I would just say you have to be careful with that.
And one of the other things you mentioned was about gut health. Make sure that you have very good gut health. That will go a long way to help you to lose weight also. And so if you're not taking a probiotic, is a good opportunity time to start taking a probiotic. There are several different ones out there. I tend to like the ones that are once again pure encapsulated is the vitamins that are going to go to every time. But those ones that are in the refrigerator tend to be better. And so,
Right.
because you have those bad bacteria in your gut, that can make you crave those sugary things. And so, you want to try to kill those bad bacteria in your gut and replace those with good bacteria. And taking a probiotics will help with that.
Awesome, awesome. And I just done some basic research on mushroom coffee because somebody, let me go to the question. Is mushroom coffee a good substitution for regular coffee? Um, I haven't seen necessarily studies on it, but just some basic research and Googling and things because I was seeing these Facebook ads and all this stuff about mushroom coffee. And so what they've claimed is that it's basically a blend of coffee beans plus a mushroom powder that offers potential benefits like enhanced immunity, reduced stress, and improved cognition, which is your mental ability. And you know, there's also a popular radio host and podcaster here who I dare not say his name because he's extremely controversial. I do listen to the guy every morning. I gotta admit, but he's very controversial. He's been named all kind of different things, but he does his broadcast from a gentleman, Dr. Michael Walker, who was 1 year below me at the university, and he's got this clinic out in Madison doing phenomenal work. And this particular podcaster, radio show host, talks about the benefits of testosterone and saying that all those improved cognition, brain fog, stress, he's seen so many benefits of testosterone. So, like I said, I haven't even tried mushroom coffee. I don't know about you,
I
Andrew.
have
Have you seen anything from that? Oh, okay. All right. Um, all right. These are the we'll he's Kenoa said, please talk about gut health. Yeah, man, that's that's so important. And so unfortunately, I know a lot of people enjoy a good beer and some alcohol, but see if you're doing it in somewhat of a moderation, you're okay. But people that are doing a lot of hard drinking every day, I mean, you're just killing it. You're increasing chance of colon cancer. And then, like Dr. Clark was saying about probiotics and the encapsulated ones, making sure that your gut health is up to par because it makes such a huge difference in how you feel and just your lifespan in general. Let's see. Okay, so we'll stop it at Ty Patterson's last. We'll be at the last, but Keisha says, what do you all feel about ketogenic diets? Because it works for those that are not diabetics, especially me. Well, I think the ketogenic diet, like I said, you have to be careful with keto because in the wrong setting with the wrong or the right patient, it can actually be detrimental because you have to be so careful about people's what is their true requirement for their body. Everybody's different ethnicities, different body types, different weight, and so. But if it works for you, then by all means keep going. But if you have access, I think Octavia had asked about what can you do about getting with a nutritionist if you're going to start on those type of significant diets and things like that. It would be at least good to get a consult from a nutritionist, and they draw different labs. They can look at your chemical makeup, your body, your BMI, and just give you the best recommendations. What say you, Dr. Clark?
I was actually just reading some of the comments there, and I'm loving the comments when it's talking about the gut health. I'm seeing the parasite cleanse using black walnut, wormwood, cloves. Right, the gut health. We was told the gut is your second brain in essence, and so and is not a lot of focus on that. So we mentioned a probiotic, but yes, the black walnut is great to kill parasites. Wormwood is good. I can remember growing up, we did a parasite cleanse every summer. You know, Grandma lined us up. I'm not going to tell you what she gave us because you really shouldn't be doing it, but it absolutely worked. And you did a parasite cleanse every summer. And in other countries, you must do this before you go to school. In order kids to go to school, they must do a parasite cleanse. So probiotics, doing a parasite cleanse while you're on your weight loss journey, it will go a long way.
Absolutely. Let's see here. Where are we? We kinetic. All right, and okay. Ty Patterson. I will see you tomorrow. He said, "I'll see you tomorrow for those probiotics." Comment: broccoli is the best vegetable, watermelon, the white part for testosterone. Okay, with that is definitely a great point. Pre and probiotics for women's health can't be discussed enough. Absolutely. And the last one here, Ty Patterson. I bought the black walnut and wormwood drops, but I'm afraid to use it because I heard the parasites can come out anywhere, even your nose. You know, I got nothing when it comes to the wormwood drops, brother. I don't. Do you?
Well, they're so basically when you're doing that parasite cleanse, right? You're doing good health. It's the main. It's going to come out in your feces to be, for the most part. I haven't seen. I'm not saying it doesn't come out your nose, but it's going to come out the other end.
There you have it. That's the same. It's like with the dogs and getting them wormed and stuff like that. And you take dog to the vet, and you can actually see the worms in the in the poop and stuff like that. So that's what he's
Now,
talking about.
and I would ask you this, Doc. I can years ago. I mean, you guys used to do get stool samples. You don't tend to do that anymore.
Yeah, not as much. And people come into the hospital and they're having like infectious type diarrhea and abdominal pain, cramping, fever, stuff like that, and maybe their white blood cell count is elevated, and especially if it's severe enough to get like a GI doctor on board, I will go ahead and order like a stool culture, stool WBC, stool ova and parasites, and they'll run all those things in the lab. But like you said, a lot of times it'll be C. diff or traveler's diarrhea, or somebody went to the tailgate and had some hot mayonnaise, some hot potato salad, and some some salmonella on the chicken and all this stuff. So anyway. All right. Well, look, I know we're going over time, man. I really appreciate it. Dr. Clark, I'd love for you to take it away to let our listeners know again one more time who you are, where you're located, what you're working on, and how they can contact you.
Definitely, I want to thank you again. It was a pleasure being on here discussing weight loss and the role that medication play in that journey. Once again, I'm Dr. Andrew Clark. I'm the pharmacist and owner of Northtown Pharmacy. We're located at 6220 Old Ken Road here in Jackson, Mississippi. We'd love for you to stop through, and we'd love to be your pharmacist. And if you're currently going somewhere else, transferring your prescription here is very easily. You simply give us a call. You can go to our website, which is www.northtownpharmacy.com, and you can put in your request to transfer there, or you simply can stop in, and we'll be happy to transfer your prescriptions and enjoy being your pharmacist.
Man, that's awesome, brother. Well, thank you. Thank you to Dr. Andrew Clark for being a part of another fantastic episode of Telehealth Tuesday. Thank you for our viewers and supporters over in Instagram land. God willing, we'll be here next Tuesday, always on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to get with my frat brother, Dr. Terrence Ware. We're hoping to have his lovely wife on here as a guest where we talk all things legal and more. And so stay tuned for that, though. Make sure y'all watch for the flyer, Dr. B TV on YouTube, Heart of Music, HARDT of Music on Instagram. And also we're streaming on different 2 channels on Facebook. So find us here, make sure. And if you want to hear from people like Dr. Clark and others, my good brother Antonio Ward and other people, Dr. Clayton Barksdale that we've had on, if you want to see them again, you want to see somebody else new, or you just have a topic or a question, don't hesitate to reach out to us, DM us, email us. We're always here for you. So again, we will see you, God willing, next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Bring a friend, and remember, true wealth begins with good health. We'll see you. Bye for now.